My, that goes back a long way. Back to the late 80s when I first met Roy. We were still young enough we thought we were basketball players, even though we were in our late 30s. But that's where I first met him, on the court. We bumped into each other, we tangled, we knocked heads, and I realized I just ran into a guy and met a guy who was highly competitive. He was a monster on the court.
At first I didn't really care for Roy too much because I was always playing against him and he was so super competitive. It was always very difficult, but once I got to be friends with him and get on his team, it made my life a lot easier and a lot better.
He saw this tremendous need, and the need was not unusual, but it was not being filled, as it's still not being filled. With that in mind, he set out like the Lone Ranger to fill it. He was tremendously relentless in his mission, and beautiful to watch him work.
Roy was funny. Roy had a great sense of humor, at the same time very caring, very nurturing for his kids, and for our kids, because they were our kids. He just made you feel good about yourself and about working for Youth Alternatives. And he gave us the passion to keep it going now that he's no longer here.
In 1976, the Bridge became the first licensed co-ed emergency shelter for children up to age 17 in San Antonio. Roy Maas saw the need and surrounded himself with a circle of supporters who dedicated their lives to the mission of serving children that had been abandoned by society.
I first met Roy Maas in 1980. It's hard to really define his charisma, but he was very passionate and consumed with what he was doing. I guess I've always had a compassion, maybe like Roy, for kids that didn't have everything.
I remember meeting Roy when I was a resident. He basically treated every child as if they were actually his own. Roy wanted the kids to know that there is a place they can turn to. You know, this is a place called home.
Roy would want the kids to know that we understand that you've been through really tough times, but not to give up. And there is always hope for a better future. He loved them, and he always saw the best in them. And he would rarely give up. And he probably would never give up.
He was a kind, loving person. He cared about everybody, especially the children.
He was genuine, and I think that's the best way to describe him. Like, he really, his caring about the kids and caring about us, he was real genuine. He was sincere.
Roy was there to make them feel wanted, and make them feel nourished, and make them feel that they were loved. Roy never lost sight of that. It was not a challenge, it was just an obligation. You know, well, why wouldn't everybody be doing this? So he taught us all a lot. We don't have bad kids, we just have kids in bad situations.
As I look out over this campus and think about this being home for dozens and dozens of our children, I realize that each one of us have a unique opportunity to have a profound effect on the lives of many, many children.
They taught me certain things, and after I had left, I just applied them to my life because that's all I knew. And that's why I'm where I'm at right now. It's because of him, his philosophy, the programs that he ran, the way he was, and all the other staff members.
This whole agency started for the kids. I learned a lot from him. I learned, for the kids, I won't take no. I'll do it until it gets done, or until I find someone that will do it. And believe me, there'll be someone that will do it for our kids.
You know, he felt, very deeply that he was blessed to have the opportunity to take care of these kids that needed so much care. He did it for so long, and he did it so well, that he created a legacy for all the people that have worked there since. It's been basically like part of their lives, in their blood. They feel responsible to get this thing done in the name of Roy.
I think he'd be really pleased that we've expanded past the things he left behind. This campus was here. The bridge was always there. So, you know, Turning Point, the transitional living program, what a big, he'd be so pleased with that. Because there was a time when kids aged out of foster care and they really just literally, you know, had no place to go. But the fact that we've got a program where they can actually go and work on the next phase of their life, that's a huge deal. The charter school, I think he'd be very happy with that. I think he'd be proud that that a few of us have stayed, and really proud of the people who have come on board.
I think Roy would be very proud of where the organization is today. However, he would also say the work is not done. The first 40 years have been great, and the next 40 years will be even better.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.